everybody, Sean Holsinger here from HolsingersFlyShop.com, bringing you a nymph pattern today. This nymph is a pretty cool nymph. It's an old one, actually. It's called the Halfback, and it's called that because it has half a pheasant tail back on it. And this actually was a pattern that was suggested to me by one of our customers at the shop, and he likes to bring out the old ones. He always asks me to tie the old flies, and this is no different. But what I want to show off and what's new in this video is the Firehole stones. We just got them into the shop in a good many colors, and I want to show them off. Cool thing about the Firehole stones, they come in the box just like the hooks. There's 36 hooks in a box, 36 beads in a box. That's a really cool thing about the Firehole stones. The ones we're going to be using today, and also they have one there 1/8 or 3.0 millimeter, so depending on which way you like to order them or whatever, which way you're accustomed to order them. And it also gives you the size range too on here. Like this one is the Mounds color that we're going to be using, and it says tungsten beads 1/8 3.0 millimeter, size 10 to size 14. So they come with they give you a rough estimate of what size you should be using for what hook. Anyhow, let's get into tying this. You're going to see it's a really cool looking fly. It's a really buggy looking fly. It's not hard. There's a little bit to it, but it's not really hard. And give it a try, guys. It catches fish. Okay, here you can see the fly in the vise. You can see how buggy this fly is. You can see also why it's called the Halfback, because it has that pheasant tail back over it. And we're going to get into tying it here. Like I said, it's not real hard. And it's one that you should practice because there's a couple different techniques to it that you use in a lot of different flies, and it'll help you out in the long run. So this is, if you're a beginner, this is a great fly to be tying. So let's get the hook in the vise here. And the hook we're using is a 633 Firehole size 12. The bead I'm using is a Mounds, like Almond Joy and Mounds color, Firehole tungsten bead and a 3.0 1/8 millimeter. Okay, the thread that we're using is dark gray and the 70 denier. We're just going to start it on there, and we're going to wrap it back to the bend of the hook. Once we get that back at the bend of the hook, we're just going to sit that down for a second. Now we're going to take a natural pheasant tail. I got this one pretty well picked over here. But we're going to take some fibers off of it, the nice long ones down here at the bottom I like to use. And I want to get about 6 or 7 of them. So enough that it'll make a nice tail and a nice back for this. So when I cut them off, I'm going to hold them up there, maybe a couple too many. Anyhow, let's, what we're going to do is we're going to try to get them all matched up in around the same length. That's pretty close. And I'm going to set it on the back of the hook. And this one has a tendency to curl up. I'm going to put that curl pointing up. And I'm just going to make a couple loose wraps so I can tweak this to where I want it. And you can see there, that's about the length I want it. I don't want it real long. And then I'll tie it down nice and tight. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring this back and tie it back out of the way. Next thing we're going to add is we're going to add 2 pieces of Peacock Herl. And I'm just going to find 2 nice long pieces here. I'm going to tie them in by the tips. We're just going to start them on there and tie them back to that bend again. Okay, and then we'll trim off the tags. You can pull them off or trim them off. And the next thing I want to add is this is a whiting Brahma hen. The color is golden brown. I really like this. If you have a brown, a hen neck or something, you want a brown colored hen neck is what you want. Hen hackle. I'm going to take this right out around the middle part here. That's about the length of the hackle I want for this size 12. So I'm going to tie this on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take it off there. I'm going to tie it strip back the tips. So I can strip it back like that, and then I'm just going to cut the end of it off so I don't have a lot of extra to wrap down. And then we're just going to wrap it down by that tip. Alright, now the great thing about this and why this is a great fly for beginners is this fly is not pretty. The buggier it looks, the better it fishes. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take our Peacock Herl and I'm going to twist it around my string. And I'm going to twist it, you can see here I'm twisting it probably about 10 times or so. And it'll actually twist a little bit more as I wrap it on. So we're going to wrap this up about halfway. Okay, once we get it about halfway, I'm building a little bit of body with it, overlaying itself. Once I get it about halfway, I'm going to unwind this until I can tie it down. There we go. Okay, now that's about the length I want, about half of it. And now I'm going to take my hackle pliers and I'm going to wrap this hackle up. Now, I'm going to tease them back, but I'm not going to get real particular on the back side here. Because like I said, this is meant to be ugly. So I'm going to try to keep them going back. Try not to trap any. So they all stand out real nice. I'm going to wrap that the whole way up there. Then once we get this wrapped up, we're going to tie it off. Okay, now you can see how buggy that is there. What we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to get all these fibers down on the bottom. So I'm just going to take my fingers and keep teasing them down each side. So there's none on the top there. Then we're going to take our pheasant tail and pull it out over the top to make the halfback. And then we're just going to wrap it down. Okay, once we get that wrapped down good, we're just going to trim it off. Because it's only a halfback, not a fullback. Okay, once we get this part, the next thing to do is we're going to put on another piece of hackle. We're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to pull those tips out and trim the ends off. We're going to tie that down. Okay, and we're going to put 2 more pieces of Peacock Herl in there. So try to get 2 good pieces here. And I'm going to tie them on. And we're going to wrap that back to that new piece of hackle that we just put on there. And we'll just trim off these herls, the tips. Okay, then we're going to wrap the herl on first. And I'm going to put a couple wraps around my thread here just to get it started. And then we're just going to cover this up with the herl. And I want to make it a little bit thicker on the front end here. And once we get up here close to the bead, we're going to tie it off. Okay, then we'll take our hackle pliers and wrap this hackle forward. Now, we're not wrapping this on like a wet fly. This is meant to be legs on a nymph. There we go. Oops. So, we're not going to wrap it right beside each other like you would a wet fly and palmer it on. We're going to palmer it forward, but we want these to go the whole way up through here. So, I'm going to get about 3 wraps on here. And it's going to go the whole way around. There we go. Now you can see that that made a nice leggy look. Cut my tip off. And it's just really buggy and standing out anywhere. So everywhere. The last thing I need to do is just whip finish this off. Get a whip finisher. And that is all that's to this really buggy looking fly that will catch you fish. So there you see the halfback nymph. Okay, I hope you enjoyed my version of the Halfback nymph. Like I said, a lot of guys don't use a bead on this. I like to use beads because I like to weight things to get them down for my style of nymph fishing. So I wanted to use a bead, but what was really cool about this was I used the new mound colored or brown colored one from Firehole, and they look really great. It actually kind of blends right in with the fly and doesn't really make it look like it has a bead on it. I would use it in a copper bead too. Really easily use it in a copper and do well with it, I'm sure. Buggy looking fly, it will catch you fish. Give it a try. You know, it's one of those flies that is a great beginner's fly because there's a lot of techniques in it that you use in other flies. That's why this is a great one to learn, and it's a good one to have in your box because it's just so buggy. So, all the material you need to tie it, you can find at the shop at holsingersflyshop.com. And like always, please take the time to like our video, give us the thumbs up. If you want any information from me on any of the things that I have in the video or a guiding trip, you can contact me at holsingersflyshop@gmail.com. I got it right down here for you. Or you can contact us at the shop at contactus@holsingersflyshop. So until next time, guys, get over to our social media outlets like Facebook and Instagram. Give us a like there and follow us. And don't forget about our Bugs and Beards. That's a group we have on Facebook. And I got some exciting news that we're not going to share quite yet. But it has to do with Bugs and Beards. So stay tuned for that, everybody. Thanks for watching. And until next time, I'm Sean Holsinger.